What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Breakdown Podcast. I'm the host, Anthony Cava, and today we got a great one. Today we're joined by one of the most unique athletes in combat sports, Zac Pauga. Zac is a rare three-sport professional athlete, having competed in the NFL, professional rugby, and the UFC. We talk about his time as a standout football player at Colorado State University, his trials and tribulations in the NFL, his run through the Ultimate Fighter, which eventually landed him a contract in the UFC, his UFC fights, his post UFC career fights, what he's doing now, and a number of other interesting topics. Zac talks about the highs and the lows of playing at what is essentially the top of three different professional sports. We cover all that and much, much more on today's episode. Get ready, guys, because this is a great one. Without any further ado, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Zac Pauga. Uh, hey, without any further ado, let's get into it. Zac Pauga, or Paunga.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Zac Pauga. Hey, okay, so so man of many talents. I'm sure you've heard that many times at this point, but we gotta hammer it home for people. Hey, pro in three different sports, MMA, of course, football and pro rugby. Stand out in high school football and rugby. Stand out in college as well in football. So yeah, man, I like to go through chronologically. So just take me from the beginning. How did it all start for you? Where did it all start? And how are we seeing the man we see today?
Yeah, I started just like, most American boys in the 90s. Like I wanted to play football. That's what I loved football. I loved hitting people. I loved tackling. Fortunately I was big, strong kid, so I did well. I had tons of success playing football, you know, um, like obviously played well in Pee Wee, played well in high school, had a college scholarship. Went to Colorado State University, was a 4-year starter there, and then just had the opportunity to uh, play for the Houston Texans. So that was like the start. That was my start. That's my background. That was all football. Obviously, I played. Like I said, I grew up in the '90s. It was a different time than now. I played a sport every season. That was my parents' daycare. Like I was there
Right.
was there was no time that I came home after school and just hung out, right? Like it was every day after school I was playing a different sport. So that's like my like athletic background. That's why I'm really well rounded in what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people I've talked to, and I actually even read a book about it. But they say kind of how there are examples of people specializing early and exceeding at their sport, but a lot of the times it's guys that played multiple different sports because you can miss out on like really crucial fundamentals in other sports that can transfer over well if you don't play all the sports. So, did you kind of have that same experience, like how, rugby translated to football, translated to, MMA?
Absolutely. And it's just for a kid, for a young kid, it's just building your athleticism.
Mhm.
If you specialize too soon, it's you're going to go in down this road of like overuse and inroads of ability. So it's building your athleticism. And the piece that I don't think really anyone talks about, for if you're talking about like really being good at something and doing it for your whole life,
Mhm.
is interest. Like
Right.
you have to be interested in something if you're going to make it. If you're going to work as hard as you have to work to get into the NFL or to fight in the UFC, it's not discipline, right? That's the hot thing right now. Everyone talks about discipline. It's not discipline. It's interest. Do you actually want to do it?
Yeah.
And if you're being forced from 4 years old to play football year round, that interest is going to run out in like 5, 6, 7 years, and then that's when their career should be starting, and that's when they're sick of doing it. So those little breaks, cutting it up, yes, it helps develop your athleticism, and it keeps you interested. I was sad every year when football season ended. I was so sad and so excited to get back to football season.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you pretty much answered my next question, which was going to be, was that was your favorite sport personally growing up was football?
I liked rugby more. I liked
Mhm.
rugby more, but it like at least in America, like it was clear that football was what was going to like be the path for me. Like it was,
Mhm.
I didn't know about scholarships or anything, when I was 5 years old or 8 years old, but I watched people play on TV. I watched people college football games, professional football games, and I knew that's what I want to do. I want to go play on TV.
Right. So speaking of college, what were your main offers coming out of high school, and then how did you ultimately choose on Colorado State?
So this is I had a lot of offers. I was a pretty high class recruit, but I mean I had offers from CSU and CU, right, the two big schools in Colorado.
Right.
The BCS isn't even a thing anymore, but like the BCS schools that I had offers from were from like Stanford and Iowa. And I didn't even really know at the time, I didn't even know. Like I said, my dad's an immigrant. Like I liked football, but I didn't really know the path, like the difference between a BCS school and a non-BCS school. So I went close to home. I went to the school that I liked the coach, that was uh an easy drive for my parents. And it all worked out. I love Fort Collins. I love Colorado State, but like I had offers from bigger schools and better conferences. And who knows how it would have gone if I would have taken those. But I ended up at CSU. It worked out great. Like I said, I was a 4 year starter at CSU, so it was great.
Yeah. So you get to CSU. Um, how? Just tell me how, because I'm sure I don't know much about CSU, but how
Yeah.
was that culture on campus? Was there, I didn't even ask, but I'm sure being an athlete in three different sports and being, very sport oriented as a young man, you probably didn't have a lot of time to go out to parties, or maybe you weren't a partier. What was that like being on your own and having that freedom?
So it's a huge culture shock. It's massive to go from living in your parents' house, being structured, everything you do is like monitored, to all of a sudden just it's on you. It's on you. Wake yourself up on time, get yourself to class, do all these things.
Mhm.
And to be honest, a lot of dudes that were better than me, a lot of guys more athletic than me, didn't make it through. Couldn't force themselves to be like to get there, to get to practice and things like that. But it was awesome. It was great for me. I was so lucky and so blessed to be able to experience that. And like I said, to have no idea what I was walking into. And they just throw you into the deep end. Like I said, when you go to a school like Colorado State, you live on campus, you have a dorm, you live there. They give you your schedule, they give you your practice schedule, your class schedule, and it's on you. Get there or
Yeah.
don't get there. Like there's going to be, if you don't get there, all right, you're out, you're gone. You're not going to be there very long.
Yeah. And what was that schedule like your first year?
So as a freshman, it was lifting at 6 a.m. It was lifting at 6 a.m. Then it was you can pick the times that you take your classes, but you got to fit them in. They're like practice meetings start at 2:30 and practice starts at 4. So it's like you can have your classes start whenever you want, but obviously you got to fit them in between, your lifting gun at 7 and uh practice starting at 2:30.
Right.
So like, oh, and then as a freshman, I don't think they do this anymore. I think they do it a lot smarter now. They have like tutors and study halls. But
Mhm.
when I was there as a freshman, every night from 6 to 8, you had study hall, which just meant you went and sat in your position room, and your coach just sat there and said, do your homework, right?" And you like, everyone would say, "I don't have any homework," and we'd all just sit there. And then guys would still fail out, but it
Yeah.
was, but yeah, so it was a grind. Like, and so my friend, like you were talking about time and partying. I redshirted. I don't know
Mhm.
if you're into college football, like redshirting means you're not playing for the year. You're not going to
Yeah. So
play, but it doesn't.
I, I
Go
play
ahead.
I played college basketball. I just wanted to say real quick, I
Okay.
did redshirt my freshman year. So yeah, it's not easy when you know you're not gonna
Yeah,
play.
but it's like it made. I mean, I could say now I graduated 10 years ago. Like it, we did party, right? Because you're not you're not doing anything on the weekend.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
but it was cool. It was thinking back, I don't appreciate that year as much as I should have. Like just go in and train every day and do whatever you want on the weekends. I don't.
Right.
In the time we all wanted to play. In the time we were all like hungry. God, I'm better than this guy. Blah blah all that. But now sitting here, 37 years old, that was like the best year of my life.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, just I mean It's almost like, I mean, of course, it's not summertime because you still got classes and it's a high stress, but, kind of like when you describe that picture of you're basically just training with your friend, mainly your friends are the
Yeah.
guys on the team, and then you're going out and partying with those same guys. It's like, yeah, so I get that. That's awesome, dude. So you finish up this red shirt year. Most guys that, come from high school and red shirt right away, and they're in these big programs like yourself, they notice that huge jump in their everything, athleticism, playmaking abilities, just from being around guys that are super high level as well. How was that jump for you? And then just take me through the rest of your college career and how that went.
So yeah, I kind of had a different. My path was a little weird because I was a linebacker. Like my college career, I have to this day. I still have uh, Colorado's record for sacks in a single season. Like I was
Yeah.
an edge rusher. That was my uh, that's why CSU recruited me, is to be a linebacker to rush the edge. And that's like a competitive position. Obviously, that's the best player on your defense most of the time. And so I redshirted as a defensive uh as a linebacker, like an outside linebacker. But it was like we're gonna get into the weeds on football here. Like I
Yeah.
in high school I played like a defensive end, like a or a 3-4 stand up outside linebacker. I
Mm.
stopped the run, I rushed to the quarterback. Like I said, I didn't do any real research on like the school's programs that I was going to. So I get to CSU and they run a 4-3. And I'm
Yeah.
like trying to play outside linebacker, trying to cover the flats, trying to cover guys. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm horrible at this. I'm like,
But it's just the
I,
schematics, really.
yeah, I can't
Yeah,
do like, I'm not meant to do this. I'm not meant to cover slot receivers and stuff like that. I'm trying to rush the quarterback.
of course.
So there's like, so I go through all of my redshirt season, training, getting better, learning the defensive scheme, but more or less just being garbage. Like not like
Yeah.
thinking that, okay, I made a horrible mistake and I'm probably not going to be here for very long.
Right.
And then they're talking about moving me to D line because obviously the defensive ends do rush the quarterback. But I'm like, I'm 6'2". I'm like 230 at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not like I'm trying to play in the NFL. That's not the size of a defensive end in the NFL.
Right.
And then it just comes up randomly in spring ball the following season that we need a running back. Our running back gets hurt. Hey, we need a running back. I'm like, I played running back in high school. Let's do it. Made the flip, made the switch. The rest is history. Started for 4 years as a fullback, tight end like combo position, and then yeah, I went from there.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I saw in high school it said I forget what year, but it said you had like however many thousand rushing yards, and then you also had 16 sacks. I was like, oh yeah, this guy was putting in that work on both
Yeah.
ends. So yeah, man, that's of course that served you well too, it seems in the years to come. So yeah, so uh you declared for the draft. This was your did you do to junior year or you went to senior year?
I went to senior. I did all 5 years.
Okay, all 5 years. So, you put your name in. Talk me through that pre-draft process, and then what was that like? Getting an agent and in the business side of things as well.
So that's a hard part of the game that I made a mistake in. Like I'm to be a high level athlete, you have to be confident. Like you have to believe in yourself, right?
Mm.
And I thought too highly of myself. I'm coming out of a small school, a mid level school like CSU. We were not good my senior year. We were 4-8. Like had come had a good season personally, but my team is coming off of a bad season. But I'm thinking like that I'm a big shot, I'm a big deal, the best player out of CSU, all this stuff. So I get an agent from a big agency. I go to one of these big agencies that has all these NFL players, all these high level guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be one of those guys. I need their agent. So they give me whatever brand new intern that they have, and he's my agent.
Yeah.
And getting ready for the combine. I'm trying to get ready for the combine. Um, doing all the stuff. It's almost like being redshirt year again, but you're learning how to do the combine drills, which is a little bit different than just getting strong. They don't care how strong you actually are. They care how much you can bench 225, right? They care how fast you can run the 40. So you're learning how to do those drills, and it's a cool process, and it was fun. And I'm meeting and visiting with a whole bunch of teams at the time, primarily the Denver Broncos, the team in my home state, Houston Texans, and the Arizona Cardinals. Those are the teams that are like interested in me, and just going through the whole process, have my pro day, and do good. I put up for me for what I was looking to do. I put up great numbers. The my pro day and my combine, everything goes as good as it really could have gone. And then draft day comes, and I'm sitting there watching the draft. I got my whole family there. They don't show you this part, right? They don't show you this part. They always show you the guy who gets the call, and all his family's there, and everyone jumps up and goes crazy. They don't show you the like 100 guys whose family's sitting there, and nobody calls. I don't get drafted. I get a call from Arizona, and I get two calls. I get a call from Arizona in the fourth round saying like, asking me if I want to go there, blah, blah, all this stuff. Comes up to their pick, and they pick a different fullback. So like they wanted a fullback, and they thought
Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
But they
I didn't know
thought
if you
that
know this guy in college or.
but they thought that the fullback that they wanted, or their number one pick, would be gone. So they're calling
Okay.
me, and then he's there, and so they go, and then I get a call in the seventh round. Houston Texans have the last pick, the Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick, and I'm like sick. I'm like, I've been sitting here for 2 whole days. My whole family's here watching me. I'm like sick. The Houston Texans call me, and I go back and forth if I did the right thing here or not. But they asked me, hey, they're like, we want you to come to Houston. And I'm like, oh, sweet, they're going to draft me. But they're like, but we also want another guy, and we don't know if he'll come. They said, we'll sign you right now. We'll sign you right now to the same contract we'd give the seventh round pick, but we just want to know if you'll come. And like, I've been sitting there for 2 days. I agree. I go, okay, sign me. I'm a Houston Texan, blah, blah, blah. But then I don't get drafted. Then I have undrafted free agent on my resume, So the Texans call me in that seventh round and pay and sign me, but I don't get drafted. I go undrafted, but I know I'm going to Houston anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get to Houston and correct me if I'm wrong here. It was 2011s, right?
2012.
2012. So that was still a very good Houston team. So they have
Oh yeah.
Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, JJ, obviously. Did they have Hasselbeck at that point?
No,
No.
the
Um,
Schaub was the quarterback.
Schaub. And then Clowney came a little bit later, correct?
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Okay, yeah. So talk me through just, ground level. You signed that contract, and then, just take me through those first, the pre-camps and everything before the season, how that went.
So it's another story, man. It's another long story. I came out during the lockout. I don't know, you might not even remember it, but I came out in that season, that 2011, 2012 off season.
Yeah.
The players and the owners were beefing, and the owners were
Mhm.
locking the players out of the facilities. So there was no preseason, there was no OTAs, there was no practices along that. They did a shortened preseason. So the lockout ends the week of the first preseason game, and they say, okay, you can come in. We come in. Everyone gets there on the same day. We have to do all the stuff. We have to do all the medicals, everything. We practice for 3 days and play a preseason game, and then or we end up playing like so it's 4 weeks. We end up playing 4 preseason games, but it's like another situation about I was talking about when I went to CSU. I was like an athletic. I was an H back is what we called it at CSU. I made I my skill was like being athletic, making plays, running the ball, catching the ball, being able to block. I like being good at blocking, but that's not what my whole deal was. And then when I went to the NFL, right, they pay guys millions of dollars to run and catch the ball, right?
Right,
They
right.
wanted an offensive lineman in the backfield. That's all they say. Hey, you're never going to get the ball. Arian Foster's going to get the ball.
Right.
You're never going to get the ball. You're just going to block the entire time. And
Yeah.
like that was eye opening, but I was like down to do it. I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. The big issue was if you want to be a fullback in the NFL, you better play special teams. Like you better
Mhm.
know how to play special teams. And I
Yeah.
hadn't played. I'd been two-way starter, all the way up until college, 4 year starter in college. I hadn't played special teams since I was in like first grade. And
Right.
I'm running down on kickoff trying to tackle Ted Ginn and like and just like getting completely smoked.
Yeah.
So it was like out of my element in that aspect. Like I was ready to go. I was excited. I had the interest, but it was just thrown into the deep end. Like I said, we came in I came in game week. We 1 week of practice, go play. Oh, you're running down on kickoff. I'm going kickoff. I haven't ran
Right.
down on kickoff in 20 years. What are we doing? Like, and
Yeah.
so I struggle. I'm not. I don't want to sit here and like pretend that I was some amazing athlete and some badass. I struggle, right? And that's why this is why I end up getting cut from the team. I get put on the practice squad after those 4 preseason games. Um, but yeah, I can't. I'm not good at special teams. Like I'm not good at special teams, and that's where, as a fullback, you have to make the team.
Mhm.
And but yeah, so we get through all those 4 preseason games. I play like 3 snaps of offense. Like so, I don't even have tape to send other teams that I can actually play fullback. I play like 3 snaps of offense, bunch of special teams that I do horrible at. They put me on the practice squad, and then they sign. I do remember his name. They signed Lawrence Vickers, who was a Pro Bowl fullback from the Browns.
Mhm.
They signed him. They give him like $12 million, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how I'm going to beat this guy out. Like it's gonna be a rough go. It's gonna be a rough go. And Gary Kubiak, the head coach at the time, calls me into his office, and he's like, hey man, like we're gonna let you go. And I'm like, Gary, I'm better than this guy. I can beat him out. And he goes, okay, we just gave him $12 million.
Right.
We don't want you to be better than him. We don't care if you're better than him. We're going with him. And I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, so
Mhm.
that's the end of my time with the Texans. I bounce around the league a little bit. The Cardinals pick me up again for like 1 week
Mhm.
uh in the middle of the season. But it's hard. It's hard as a fullback because
Right.
the NFL, all pro teams, right? They have a limited number of players on the roster. They can only have 52 guys, and like 8 of those guys are practice squad guys. So when I go to the Texans or when I go to the Cardinals, it's because their fullback got hurt. That guy that they drafted over me got hurt, so they bring me in. Well, then it didn't. Then that same week, another linebacker gets hurt, and they're
Mhm.
like, "Well, we can play without a fullback. We can't play without a linebacker," and so they have to release me to bring in another linebacker. And it's just a business, man. It's not about just being good at the sport, but I unfortunately was not good enough at the one thing that they had me doing, which was playing special teams.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and you mentioned it's a business at the end of the day, which is extremely unfortunate because as a fan or really anybody looking at this situation, it's like, okay, why wouldn't the best guy get the chance, or why wouldn't even you give a guy, a shot? But like you said, you spend 12 million on a fullback of all things. It's like he's playing fullback. Like they're not just gonna,
Yeah,
sign him. So, the coach gets put in that position of, you got to make the owner happy, you got to make this person happy, you still got to win games. Yeah, it's a tough position to be in, no doubt. But so yeah, so you get through that stint, and at what point were you like, okay, I'm gonna have to leave this behind if I want to go pursue other, athletic feats?
so this is I spend so that season ends, and I spend the whole next season like trying to get back in the NFL, trying to get on another team. And this is kind of where I was talking about I chose the wrong agent, right? I was I'm staying in shape, I'm doing all this stuff. I get offered NFL Europe was still a thing. It's not a thing anymore, right? But it was cool. It was really cool. But I get a contract offer from NFL Europe, and I call my agent. So this is 2 seasons after my rookie season. So like this is like the start of the third year after I've been cut from the Texans. And I call my agent and I'm like, hey man, can you like look over this contract? Uh, it's NFL Europe. I just want to know like our guy is like, do guys still go from NFL Europe back into the NFL? Just trying to get his help. And he's like, oh dude, I quit like 3 months ago. He's like, I'm not an agent anymore. And I'm like, who's been sending my like tapes? Who's been doing all this? He goes, I don't know. You got to call here. He gives me the like front line number of the agency that I was part of the big agency, and I
Mhm.
call them, and they're like act like they don't even know who I am and all this stuff.
Oh my
So I'm
God.
like, oh my god. And so this is like I say, well, that's where like a mistake, where I made a mistake of trying to sign with this big agency who puts me with a young guy who's an intern basically. He leaves, all the players that were under him just get, basically thrown to the wind, get lost.
Mhm.
And so at that point is where I'm like, okay, so the NFL doesn't even know that I'm still trying, like training, doesn't even know that I'm still trying to do it. I guess I'm done being in the NFL. Like, I guess I have to move on and do other things.
So okay, so and then you go straight from there to was your first stint with a Denver team, correct? In rugby?
Yeah. So
Okay.
just luckily, I live in Colorado. I live and train in Colorado, and at the time, basically the best team in America is playing in Glendale, Colorado, which is like a suburb of Denver. It's right in the middle of Denver, and the first professional league in America, the first fully professional American league, kicks off, starts, and creates their league and bases a team in Glendale, Colorado.
So real quick, they kick off their league the year you basically called it quits in the NFL.
No, it was 2 years. I went
Oh,
and
okay, but
I
still,
played,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I went and was like messing around with that Glendale team because they were like what you would call a semi-pro team. Like they
Mhm.
pay for your flights, they pay for your food, but they don't give you any like money. You don't make money playing for them. And so I wouldn't just play. I'm just playing for them, just trying to figure out what to do with my life, basically. And then this owner invests in making a professional rugby league, and has Glendale as one of the teams.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, almost like perfect timing. And so you make that decision, like you say, to kind of leave after the whole fiasco with your agent. But you had been messing around. You said to stay in shape with that semi-pro team.
Yeah. So like I said, I love rugby. I love the sport of rugby. So I had just been out there running, playing, and just having fun, basically.
So was that ever, well, I guess how quickly after the thing with the agent did that become like an, okay, yeah, this is something I really want to do professionally?
It was like so basically immediately after when that happens, I like go home and I go, I guess I'm not a football player anymore. Like I guess nobody knows that I'm still trying to play football, so I
Right.
guess I'm a rugby player now.
Yeah, so take me through those. Well, I guess I want to ask, how many seasons did you play professional rugby?
Four seasons.
Okay. And that was between two teams?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was between two I guess organizations. It's the same. It was the same team. Um, the first pro league in was called Professional Rugby Organization. It's called Pro League, and I played for the Denver-based team. And it had one season. It only had one season, and uh, we won the championship. My team won the championship, so won the first ever professional rugby championship. And then the league basically folded. It like went under. And then the next professional league, the MLR, Major League Rugby, came into play, and I played for them as well. It was called the Glendale Raptor team. It was a new like team, but it was the same team.
Same people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those 4 years, basically, if you could sum it up into, a little bit of a discussion, how was that for you? What did it teach you, and how did it prepare you for the next endeavor?
It was a great time. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of bonding. Um, it what it really taught me is is it really prepared me for my MMA career because I made the same. we kind of just went through all these mistakes that I made in my uh, rugby, in my football career, and all those mistakes. I make the same exact mistakes in my rugby career. I make all the same mistakes, and when I get done, I'm like, I'm like, I'm good. Like, what is the deal? I'm really good. How come I cannot make this stuff work out? And then I have to look back and go. So to try and zero on it a little bit, rugby has like two groups of positions. It has forwards and it has backs. Like forwards are the guys in the front, and everyone carries the ball in rugby. Everyone like carries the ball. Everyone has. What I love about rugby is that everyone does everything. The forwards carry it like more often, and it's like more harder hitting, like in the trenches type ball carrying, and the backs get it on the outside. But the forwards also have a lot of other roles and positions and things that they're supposed to do that are super important to like maintaining possession of the ball. They're the ones that do the line out when the ball goes out, like the famous thing in rugby where everyone's lifting up their shorts and stuff. That's the forwards.
Okay.
The scrum where guys come in like this, that's the forwards, and that's their most important thing is maintaining control of the ball. Well, I was like, I just want to run the ball. That's all.
Yeah.
I just want to be running back. I just want to run the ball. I just want to hit people. That's all I want to do. But I made myself a forward because they carry the ball more. Oh, more ball carrying opportunities. But I was just like special teams. I was not good at the other. I was not good at the line out. I was not good at the scrum. Well, you know what the forward's most primary job is the line out and the scrum to get
Yeah.
the ball.
Right.
So that's a lot of talking, a lot of rambling. But I'm just my ego gets in the way. It's the same. It's the same thing. This is when I'm done with rugby. When I go, how are these guys that I'm infinitely better than making careers out of this stuff? And I'm sitting here, sitting on the bench, not able to make a living, not able to make enough money.
Mm.
Like I realize that it's like you have to be honest. That I'm not being honest with myself. I am good. I am good, but I'm not as good as I think I am, and I'm not good at certain things.
Right.
And organizations, people that are paying you money to play a sport, they don't care what you want to do, right? They want a guy that can run down on kickoff. They want a guy that can do the line out. They don't care how good you are at running the ball, unless right you're so freakishly unbelievable that no one can talk to you. But if I was that guy, I would already know it by now, right? I would know it by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So that's really my rugby time. I love rugby and it was so good, but it was really a time of like self reflection and growth for me that I unfortunately, didn't ha- have until my MMA career. My MMA career is all the knowledge and growth I got from my past two sports. I started fighting at 32 years old. There's no reason I should be involved in the UFC. There was no reason I should have been on the Ultimate Fighter, but because I was able to take all the lessons that I had to learn twice, right? That I
Yeah.
had to get beat over the head with twice, and I finally was able to apply them and go, okay, let's make a little run at this thing.
Yeah. So I think you kind of answered my question, but before we transition fully into the MMA piece, did you ever have like kind of these dreams or goals of playing rugby in a more serious Premier League, or was it kind of just something to do?
You know, I did. I had a dream. That's my thing. Like, and I don't think this is a bad thing, but it's you're saying you're playing college basketball.
Hmm.
Anything I step into, I my dream is to be the best that ever did it,
Of
right?
course.
And obviously that hasn't worked out at all of them. But
Yeah.
when I was playing rugby, my goal and dream what was to play in the World Cup, right? And I played with the U.S. national team. I was never capped, is what they call it, where you start a game, and I didn't make the World Cup roster or anything like that. But that was 100% my goal. And when I really had to wake up is I got an offer from a team in New Zealand, the Christchurch Crusaders, to play on their like feeder team.
Okay.
Not a professional team, but they're the best team in the world, literally the best team in the world. And I can go play on their feeder team to try and get on their team. And I'm like 25 at this time. but I have to buy my own flight to New Zealand. I have to find a place to live. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to play for it'd be like to go play for the New England Patriots, right? It's an
Right.
opportunity to play for the best team that exists, and but you got to do a little work. They're not just going to give it to you. You got to do a little work, and I turn it down. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And so I play the season after that, and I'm like, if I turn that opportunity down, like clearly rugby is not. I'm not that interested in rugby. You know,
Right.
if
Right.
if I turn the opportunity down to play for the best team in the world, or to get the opportunity to work my way up to play for the best team in the world, then what am I doing here in Denver, Colorado, playing for like a C tier pro league that's never
Mhm.
gonna do anything?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting take. And of course, like you said, it might have taken you a little while, but it came in perfect time, finally coming to that realization and that maturity level almost. But it came in perfect time for your MMA career, which, I want to say real quick before we get into that is, you call it almost like a delusional level of self-belief almost, like confidence in yourself even. But dude, I mean, you got to look, you've made it to, pretty much a pro level and the top level of your respected sports in three different sports, which is something basically nobody else can say, except for a select, excuse me, a select group of people. So, you know better than a lot of people that you have to have that confidence and belief, or else you might as well not even be out there. So, um, but yeah, so just getting right into that. So you fought on the Ultimate Fighter, but first, that's not where you started, correct?
Correct.
Right. So that first fight was on can't think of it right now. Which card was it on?
Uh, my first pro fight,
Was it Vittori?
or no. So I was on the Ultimate Fighter before I was in the UFC.
What, say that again?
So before I was in the UFC, I was on the Ultimate Fighter. That's
So
how
you
I got
started
into
off
the
tough.
UFC. Yeah, yeah. I had a
Okay.
pro. I had a pro career before that, but then pro fight. I had 5 pro fights before I got on Tough. But then I got on Tough, and that's how I got my UFC contract.
Oh, but you only had okay. Well, that's actually still pretty impressive. So you only had five pro MMA fights before tough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I guess talk me from the beginning then. So how that all happened.
So yeah, I'm like I'm done with rugby. I'm done with football.
Mm.
I'm This is so stupid, but this is the truth. This is the honest truth. I'm like, I want to exercise. I want to play a sport, but I don't want to do one outside. Like we're in Colorado. It snows for 4 months out of the year. I'm
Yeah.
like, I still want to do stuff, but I just don't want to do it outside anymore. I want to be do able to do it every day of the year. So
Yeah.
I look up, you know, the closest gym to my house, the whole closest jujitsu gym to my house, high altitude martial arts, and just go in there and start doing jujitsu. Right. That's just it. Like I'm a fan of the UFC at the time. I like MMA, so I just get into it. I'm just doing jujitsu, and um, Elevation Fight Team trains there, and they
Mhm.
have a heavyweight. They're the number 4 heavyweight in the world, Curtis Blades, and they
Right.
see me on the mat. They don't know anything about me. They don't know who I am. I'm a white belt. Like they don't know anything about me. They just see a big guy that's rolling and doing jujitsu. And in MMA, like heavyweights are hard to come by. So they
Mhm.
asked me to like, hey, can you come train with our heavyweight with Curtis Blades? Sure, I like that sounds cool. I'll do it. And he's just destroying me, right? He's just I have a lot to learn. Right, I've just started. I didn't wrestle in high school. I have no background. He's tearing me
And how
apart.
much did you weigh at this time?
So at this time, I was like 240 probably,
Okay. Okay. So
and
yeah,
he's
so good.
like,
I just wanted to
oh yeah,
ask you that real quick before yeah, so go ahead.
yeah. I'm like 6'2", 240. So I'm not the biggest guy in the
Right.
world, but compared to like jujitsu guys,
Of
I'm
course.
big and athletic. And Curtis is like destroying me. He's smashing me, absolutely beat me up. But I'm enjoying it. I'm really loving it, helping him get ready for his fights, and like watching him fight and watching him murder these people. And I don't want to like sell it like I was like competitive with him in the in the beginning. He was absolutely killing me. But I was sitting there thinking like, okay, if this guy is the number 4 on planet Earth, right? He just knocked that Alistair over him, elbowed him in the head, blew his head up. Like I might be able to be okay at this sport if this is the best in the world and I'm rolling with him. And I enter. So I talk to my coaches. I talk to Curtis's coaches who become my coaches. I just say, hey, I would like to try this. I'd like to fight. And I take all the the steps and the things that I did incorrectly in my past sports. And I enter this. I believe in myself. I believe I'm going to be good. But I'm not even like caring about making it to the UFC. I'm not even caring about making money. I just want to try and be as good as I can be and see where it can go. And I have start as an amateur, have 5 fights in a year, 5 knockouts in a year as an amateur. Then I turn
Oh, so they
pro.
were all knockouts?
Yeah, boom, boom, boom.
Oh.
Just turn pro. 5-0 in one year again, 5 fights in a year again, and then just perfectly tough comes up and I get signed or not signed, but I get the opportunity to do the reality show.
Right.
And that thing was crazy as well. That was a crazy life experience that I got to go through. That was awesome. And I make it to the finals on that. So like that, just kind of letting go the desire. I still wanted to be as good as I could be, but it was no longer about making it to the NFL, making tons of money, doing all this stuff. It's just about being the best version of myself, and whatever that makes me, wherever that takes me to, is what I'll be.
Yeah, and I feel like kind of letting go of that financial piece and kind of just wanting to be the best version of you, and seeing how good you can get personally and not having to worry about as much as the business side of it clearly brought out some of the best in you. You say 5 fights in one year, all knockouts as well. I mean, that's an absurd stat. So you were on Tough 30, correct?
Yep.
And who was your coach?
Juliana Pena was my coach.
Okay. Okay. See, okay, so yeah, okay. Now I know which one this is. So you fight in the how far were you away from the overall championship? How many fights did you have left?
I lost in the championship.
In the okay, so it was
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know if it was one away.
Yeah.
So you were in the actual championship. And who was that too?
Muhammad Usman.
Okay, right, right. So you fight him, you lose him, and then you have another fight, which is obviously not part of tough, and you win your second fight. Talk me through that.
So yeah, so this is, a another learning experience, right? I don't think it's right or wrong, but I wish I wouldn't have done this. I get knocked out by Muhammad. First loss of my career, first knockout of my career. And, he just popped for steroids, 6 months ago. So I'm actually super salty about it right now. But I lose to,
Understandably so.
yeah. So I lose to him. I'm beating him the whole fight. Boom, one punch KOs me. Lose it. And I go back, I recover. I probably take 6, 7 months before my next fight. I recover, but I cut weight. I go from heavyweight and I cut down to light heavyweight. And I for I didn't wrestle growing up like this. I'd never done anything like this, and I make the weight. But it's hard, man. It's way harder than the fight, and it's hard to fight after cutting weight.
Right.
So I do all the preparation. I get ready, make the weight. I fight Jordan Wright, who is this other crazy knockout artist. He has like 9 UFC fights. None of them have gone out of the first round, but he gets knocked out. He goes in and just fights fire with fire, and he either knocks you out or gets knocked out. So he's absolutely crazy. And I'm like, at the time I don't realize it, but now I know I'm dealing with the mental fear of being knocked out. Like I'd never been just touched and gone out before, and I'm like, damn, I'm really, really worried about getting knocked out again.
Mhm.
So I get in the fight with Jordan. We're moving around. He opens the fight with a front kick that flicks my nose. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to do that to me. You're not going to do that to me.
Yeah, now we're in
Boom.
it. Now we're
Yeah,
getting it.
well, I push in, hold him against the cage. And then I feel him and I go, oh, this dude can't stop me from holding him against the cage. Right.
You're right.
And I just hold him against the cage for 3 rounds and win, which is was bad for my career, was a boring fight, was not entertaining for the fans, but you know, I needed a dub and I was super scared about getting knocked out. So I did what I had to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just going to ask, I figure in a knockout artist like that,
Yeah.
I'm sure you just go straight to your just being able to outstrength them. And of course, your jujitsu that you started with. So I did want to ask because about the whole steroids thing, I was going to save it till the end, but can you tell the difference between a guy that's on juice and not fighting wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like it sucks to talk about because like I never want to be like I only lost to that guy because he was on steroids
Yeah.
or to blame it on anything. But you can absolutely when you crack somebody, when you deck somebody that you're used to knocking out, and they just like shake their head and you go, God damn it! Like,
Yeah, right.
or when guys don't get tired, that's the other flip, right? When
Yeah.
this guy's wrestling you and you're going doing all this stuff, and you go, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
how's he? He's going to keep doing this all 5 minutes, and
Right.
that's you know, I'm sure there's genetic freaks out there. I'm sure there's anomalies. There's anomalies in every sport, but
Right.
those guys are playing in the NFL. They're not fighting in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you said about Overeem, I mean, he was
Yeah,
Ubereem.
yeah.
So, I mean, fully juiced. That man was an absolute tank. But yeah, so you have two more fights, I believe, in the UFC. And before I want to get to those last two, I wanted to ask, um, were you, so naturally speaking, just if you were working out seriously, but not like trying to cut weight, would you be closer to heavyweight or light heavy?
Heavyweight. So my last all my fights since leaving the UFC have been uh at heavyweight. I weigh 250 pounds. Like that's what I walk
Mhm.
around at.
Yeah.
In camp when I train, I get down to 245, 240. But
Oh, so
yeah,
you were
that's
cut.
no. I was cutting 35 pounds to make light heavyweight, and that's what you know. There's things I could have done better in each fight. There's things I could have done better in each fight, but that's I was so gassed and so drained, and like I'm like a guy that like likes to push the pace and likes to try and finish fights. I could not do that at light heavyweight. I could not push the pace. I could not didn't have the power to finish fights. That was just not in my inside of me when I was cutting all that weight out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean there's obviously a ridiculous amount of complications that come through essentially killing your body to make a weight like, obviously the going against a knockout artist as well, the risk of being
Yeah.
knocked out cutting that much weight from anybody is tremendous. So yeah, I was gonna ask about, your toughest weight cut, but it seemingly, I mean, I guess we have our answer. The one fight you had at light heavy, I'm guessing that was uh
Well, so all my next two UFC fights are light heavyweight, and they just get harder and harder. And
uh,
my last fight against Bogdan Guskov,
yeah,
Bogdan's real good. He's real. He's number 4 in the world right now. Like he's really really good. The problem was I was his first fight in the UFC. We didn't know how good he was, and
right.
all and also we're that like as the weight cuts go, they get harder and harder, and I'm trying to stay closer to my weight, my to 205 in camp. So I'm
Right.
just like killing myself for longer and training poorly and like everything is about making weight. The fights are no longer about having a good fight. It's about making weight for the fight. So
Mhm.
I that's my hardest one where I'm able to stay at like 225 for most of the camp, but it like that's not a good thing. Like
Right.
I'm training 15 pounds underweight the whole camp, training like garbage, not training well. And then my body's so depleted that it doesn't want to like let go of anything when I get to the actual fight. But I make weight. So this is every time I get so mad every time I see people miss weight in the UFC because you can do it like this. Oh, my body wouldn't sweat anymore. Blah, blah. That's all bullshit. You can
Right.
make weight. It just hurts. It just hurts really, really bad. And
So real quick, I want to ask two things. The first thing is, you say so. Well, I guess it's not really a question, but yeah, you get that. it's that choice between do I let myself train at a comfortable weight and then cut, or do I make it uncomfortable training so it's a less uncomfortable cut? That's a super rock and a hard place position to be in. And then I'm sure you can get into this, so you don't have to answer it now, but I do want to touch on, at least at some point, which of those three were the hardest, and what was that process like to cut each time?
So yeah, so this last cut for Bogdan is the hardest,
Okay.
and it's I'm doing it with the UFC's people.
Yeah.
I'm like it's as scientific as it can be, but it's like so a week out from the fight, you start drinking like 3 gallons of water a day, and
Mhm.
it's
Oh my God,
hard.
wait, three.
You're like 3 gallons of water a day. You're
Oh,
chugging 3 gallons of water a day, and so your body's flushing and peeing everything out.
yeah.
Then, like 4 days out, you stop eating any type of carb, any type of salt, anything
Right.
that will absorb water in your body. And you're
Of course.
still chugging the water, still chugging the water, still chugging the water. And then that last day, the last 24 hours, you don't drink anything. You don't drink anything, and you eat like no carbs still, no thing that you eat like fatty, like yogurt and stuff but with no sugar in it. And it just forces your body to flush everything out,
Right.
and then you do the like hot tub, sitting in the towel burrito thing, like sauna, and your body and just the water just leaves your body. All the water just comes out of your body, and it's harder than the fight, man. It's I will fight every weekend of the year. I will never cut weight again. I'll never cut weight again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've heard guys talk about especially just the dehydration piece. How is that night before?
So like this last one, it's miserable. It's miserable, and you can't sleep. You can't like you're just it's like you're just laying there in pain. You even if you want to sleep, you can't sleep. Your mouth is all dry, and it's horrible. The this last time, this I had a weight cut specialist with the UFC. Her name's Dawn Kelly. She's awesome. She did a great job, and she did give me a little like before that. She gave me like 3 pieces of pineapple and was like, "Eat these before you go to bed." And I'm like, "What are you talking? No, there's no way because I'm gonna have to cut it
Right.
off. Anything I eat, I'm gonna have to cut it off. There's no way." She goes, "Trust me, just do it." So I eat them before I go to bed, and that's it. I actually am able to sleep that night and sleep through the night, and then wake up and have to cut an extra like ounce, but
It's worth it.
it was worth it. It was absolutely
Right.
worth it.
Right. And especially a fruit with, like you said, you're avoiding not just anything watery, but you're avoiding anything with sugar or carbs. So I'm sure you were probably like, there's no way I'm touching this thing.
Yeah,
But that's interesting, man. Yeah, I mean, you're literally like killing your body in a sense. So and then you have what is it, like a day, 24 hours essentially to rehydrate.
yeah, yep. And
So
and the big thing is, there's people that are good at it. Like it's a skill, just like anything else. My
Mhm.
my teammate Drew Dober, he cuts like 50 pounds. He cuts
Yeah.
50 pounds,
Yeah.
knocks fools out. He's been doing it for like 40 fights.
Yeah.
It's a skill that he has. I do not have that skill.
So I was gonna ask, usually with a very tough weight cut, I've heard at least you can build back up easier than other guys. How was that rehydration for you?
I, I don't know. Like I always got back heavy. I always
Mhm.
got in the cage at like 230, 235. Like it
Yeah.
always came back, but I never felt good. Like for me, I always felt like my cardio was gone.
Mm.
I would train and feel a certain way, then cut weight and then go fight. And then like round one, I would be dying and just be like, well, like why do I feel like this? I don't normally feel like this in round one.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and like I said, I don't know. I'm not graduated to that level yet, but I would have to take a guess that it's just your blood being so thick from not having any water in it previously, and probably a lack of carbs as well. Having to process all that at once. How is that? I'm actually really interested in that because I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It's a very sweet science, not just cutting, but rehydrating. How is that rehydration process?
So luckily, the UFC gets a lot of flack for how they treat fighters, but they have a team at the PI. You don't have to use them. You have to opt in. You have to ask them to help you, but they do an amazing job. And it's like They give you you get like 5 big jugs of water with different electrolytes and stuff in it,
Mm.
and they give you a whole list of like what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like sip the first one for like 40 minutes, and then sip the second one, and then you can chug the third one, and then every like hour on time they have different meals that you're supposed to eat. Different like the first one's like all sugar. It's like a sugary to replace all the glycogen, and then it gets more starchy as it goes. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, when I the UFC does a great job helping you take care of it. It still didn't. I still didn't like it. It still didn't feel good to me. But
Mhm.
there is a it is a very scientific process.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I guess that just leaves us with these last two fights. So you cut, you take, or well, I guess you get that win at light heavy, and then you have these last two fights, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so you have these last two fights at light heavy. Talk to me about that, and then from there, just tell me what you're doing now with MMA.
Yeah. So it just my second fight is against Modestas Bukauskas, who is also a really good fighter. You know, he's on like a 7 fight win streak right now,
Mm.
and that one like breaks my heart a little bit because like I drop him in the first 2 rounds. I, in my opinion, beat the shit out of him. He hits me with a wheel kick at the end of every round,
Yeah.
and if you look on the media does like all the media does a ranking or does like picks the fights at the
Mm.
end of the fight. 12 out of 12 of the like media journalists that were watching it had me winning the fight, and then the judges gave it to Bukowski.
Mhm.
You know that's just unfortunate the fight game. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, and of course, there's always the business aspect of it too. You talk about like the wheel kicks, and it's just like, and that's why I think it's very interesting talking about judges judges judging the fight in a trailer, like not even in the arena with like headsets on that you can't hear crowd volume. Of course they're gonna give flash points, but like I see what you mean. Like especially when there's 12 journalists saying you win the fight, and then it's like a unanimous decision. It's like, I mean, come on. But yeah, so that's that fight. And he wasn't a striker, was he?
He is a striker. Yeah.
Okay, he is a striker. So this last fight you have, talk to me about that prep, and then just ultimately how it goes.
So for Bogdan Gustav, like like I said, I'm his second fight in the UFC. He lost his first. We don't know. Um, we don't know how good. We don't know that he's really really good. He's coming
Yeah,
off the Russian regional scene, and he's like has 20 KOs. His
yeah,
first fight in the UFC was against Volkan Ozdemir, like the number 5 ranked guy, and he
right.
got choked, and we're like, oh man, this guy sucks.
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna get him. Blah blah blah. I'm watching all this tape of him just starching Russian taxi drivers, and I'm like,
right.
he's never been in there with a guy like me. All this stuff. I'm training hard, and like you said, this is the camp. This is the camp where I'm like, so my weight cut for Modestus was also hard again. So I'm like, I gotta stay. I can't go in there at 230. I gotta go in light. So I'm trying to stay at 225. I'm like training like garbage. I'm having horrible training. I'm losing every sparring round. Just training like complete garbage, but I'm like feeling good about myself because I'm like 224.
Mhm.
Go in and I don't want to oversell this weight cut. I don't want to say that Bogdan would have never beat me if I didn't cut weight. It's a hard weight cut and it makes things hard. And I go out there, and we're moving around and I'm feeling really good. And he just blitzes me with that right hand. Boom, pops me, and I get on like wobbly legs and he finishes me and it is what it is. His right hand is as good as everyone thinks
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah,
so yeah, that's I was on a 6 fight contract. This is one thing that I am salty about with the UFC. I don't know who I upset while I was there. I don't know why they were upset me. So I was 1-2, right? I was 1-2 on my 6 fight contract, and then they released me after that one. They've got guys that are going like 0-4, 0-5, and then
mhm,
they're still keeping around tossing fights to.
yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
mean, especially
so
like I said, with that close of a decision with your third fight. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
but yeah, continue. I didn't want to interrupt.
But no, yeah. So that's what, like, I it feels good now. Like, it feels good, not feels good. Now it makes sense. Oh, Bogdan was really good and we didn't take him serious. But at the time, I was like, that dude just knocked me out flat. Like, that dude just put me out. What am I doing? And then, and yeah, the UFC calls on Tuesday. They do their releases on a Tuesday. They call that was Saturday night. They called me on Tuesday saying that they're releasing me.
Yeah. So you get that call, and of course, hey, like I'm first of all, you can put a gun to my head, I'm not fighting at light heavy again.
Yeah.
So so yeah, so what was so you're in is it DXB, right?
DBX is what I'm in now.
DBX. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So did you fight in any promotion before this or in between?
So yeah, so I fought it. So I get released from the UFC, and I'm like, what do I like? What do I do? I'm just basically kind of back in the like when I found out that my agent wasn't working anymore in the NFL. I'm like, okay, do people make money fighting on the regional scene? Like, I don't think so. What am I gonna do? And I fight for XFC, who was a like you can't really call them regional, but they're a promotion. They're basically trying to be the new Bellator. They were a MMA promotion that's trying to take up like Bellator's area, and they paid me really well. They pay me like match my UFC contract, pay me really well, and I get like a 1 minute. I submit the guy in like a minute there,
Hmm.
and then so they uh had me come back fight for their heavyweight title and fight against the guy Alex Nicholson in that one, and I unfortunately lose that fight. Hard fight. Alex is a really good fighter. Lose that one, but lose for their belt. But they uh, it's a good organization. Sorry,
Okay.
it's a really good organization. But I'm still kind of like bouncing around, thinking about what I'm gonna do or where I'm gonna go. And then that's when Dirty Boxing, DBX, has their first fight. They're brand new sport, brand new promotion, their first fight ever in Miami, and I'm not even thinking about it. And they have a guy fall out, and they call me on like 4 days' notice. Hey, like, do you want to come do this brand new sport that no one's ever done before?
Yeah.
So I go, I don't know what else I'm doing, so sure, I'll come in. So go
Yeah.
in there, have the fight of the night, lose a split decision against a boxer. That was the big thing. I was fighting a real boxer, and he's their like number one guy now. But I took him to a split decision, and just fall in love with it. Fall in love with the sport. Fall in love with boxing,
Mhm.
and yeah, just I'm all about it now, and like just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, especially coming from a jujitsu being the first martial art you take up, it's of course a bit of a difference,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, you're still getting that physical piece, that outlet for yourself. I want to end up with a couple things. So first, I want to say uh, you fought in all these different. Well, actually, let me since we're on boxing, would you ever do like a BKFC?
So I would short answer I would, but it
Yeah.
is I have friends that are doing it, and like you don't get like knocked out. I mean, they are knockouts, but the way these guys' faces get mangled, like it's not that I'm necessarily scared about like getting cut or anything. I just don't know how like the rest of your life, like how do you look at 50 when you've had, stitches over your eyes 80 times, like these fights, these are nasty, nasty fights. Like these guys are messed up after these fights. I would do it. I'm signed. I'm on a multi-fight deal with Dirty Boxing, so I'll probably be with gloves on for the rest of my career. But it is, yeah, man. These bare knuckle fights are crazy sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I noticed like a lot of them is like guys getting punched in around the eyes. It's like
Yeah.
popping blood vessels and stuff in their eyes, and I'm like, dude, like that's yeah, you're a different breed if you're doing that. But so I wanted to ask you, honestly, dude, there's a lot of stuff I could ask. But one of the things I wanted to ask was, you play in three different sports. Literally, all three of them are known as essentially the most physical sports you can play. Some people won't even let their kids play football anymore. So out of those three sports, all the people you've met, could you name like one or two guys that are just like the toughest dudes you ever played with?
I mean, like toughest,
Just like,
it's gonna be all fighters. Like
okay,
it's gonna be all fighters. There are good NFL players, right? There are good rugby players, but there's fighting is a completely different sport and a different thing. And talking about Alistair Overeem, after Curtis beat him, he came and joined our team and like became a good friend and mentor of mine. And like that dude is a different level of being, and like he's a different level of like being able to whoop your ass. 44 years old and just putting dudes out. Hardest I've ever been hit was in practice by him.
no
Like
shit.
just insane.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, so I mean, of course, the weight cutting itself is probably the harder than most things anybody will do in life. Just essentially dehydrating yourself to an ex insane amount and then going out and fighting a grown man a day later, essentially in a cage fight. So you say, Alistair, was there anybody that so far that kind of surprised you with their power or something like even in practice?
So I will tell you. So Curtis Blades is my main training partner. He's the reason that I'm a part of this. He's the strongest human being alive. That wrestler strength, it's different. If you're talking about weight room, if you're talking about like weight room, I don't think he could deadlift his own body weight. But when he grabs a hold of you, you're not when he grabs your wrist, you're not getting that wrist back until he wants to give it back to you. And it was such a weird like this feeling in grappling. And like I said, I'm boxing now. It's all boxing. I love it. But everyone needs to experience like grappling someone who can just not let you do what you want to do. Like you want to stand up and he's just going to grab your neck and hold you on the ground. And that's the kind of strength and power that Curtis has. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's got to be being one of the most physical, toughest guys on your teams growing up, and then having something like that having has to be a very humbling experience. But yeah, so I guess I'll wrap it up with you're in Dirty Box now. Um, I'll be watching, of course. I mean that's super cool, dude. I think that especially boxing, nonetheless, a very physical, very tough sport to be in. Very unforgiving. I mean, we just saw the other night, of course, but nonetheless, I think a lot of people could agree that it's definitely safer on your overall body than MMA. So it sounds like you're having a great time. You're doing what you want to do, making good money off it, and take me, I guess, to end it off. Um, Tell me what your future is. I mean, I don't know if you could disclose like your contract details as far as how many fights you have left, but like, what does that look like?
Man, I'll talk about like what my goal, how I want to see it. If it's up to me, right? If it's up to me, I'm going to dirty box for my rest of my career. I'll be with
Okay.
them. I'm going to be the heavyweight world champion at dirty boxing. Fight for them 10, 15 times, retire as the heavyweight champion. That's my goal. That's what I want to happen. That's what I'm putting everything towards right now.
Sounds good, man. And right now, are you in I mean, you're training obviously. What does that look like and what is and do you have anything else you want to leave with for upcoming fights or ventures at all?
So it is the boxing camp is way different than the MMA camp, right? I box every day. That's I'm in camp right now. It's just box, spar every single day, getting ready for my fight January 30th in Houston, Texas. I do believe the fight will be streamed on YouTube. So check that out, Dirty Boxing. I do have my own podcast, Fully Hydrated, that you guys could listen to that we covered going from there. But yeah, just like I appreciate it's been a good conversation.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this went over a good bit. I did not mean to let this go this far, but I mean, just a great conversation, man. Such a good dude. Um, and other than that, I don't have any other questions. Zach, thank you so much for coming on, man. And I'll definitely be watching your podcast and fights alike, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So yeah, guys, that was the Zac Pauga interview. Great conversation, great dude. Hope you guys really liked it. That's it for this time. See you next time.